Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Dr. Mangesh Dushing, working as an assistant professor in chemistry at Maratha Vidyaprasark Samaj, Nashik. Friends, in last videos of chemical bonding, we have seen pi bonds, sigma bonds, hybridization. Now in this video, we will learn about the terms bond lengths, bond angle and bond energy. Friends, as we know that the covalent bond is formed by the sharing of electrons and by orbital overlap, linear overlap or parallel overlap. Linear overlap gives you sigma bond while parallel overlap will give you pi bond. Friends, whenever the sigma bond will form, the sigma bond is not a rigid. It's a flexible like spring. See here, these two atoms are bonded with this sigma bond. So this sigma bond is like a spring. So if you want to measure this length of the bond, it's not fixed because it's going to change. That bond is contracts and relaxed. So the covalent bonds are not rigid. So definition of the bond length is the mean distance between the nuclei of the bonded atoms. It's called as bond length or bond distance. So average distance between the nuclei of these atoms is called as bond length. Friends, as we are considering the nuclei of the atoms, then obviously the bond length it depends upon the size of atom also. So it is expressed in Armstrong unit, or the bond length is expressed in the unit Armstrong unit. 1 Armstrong unit is equal to 10 raised to minus 10 meters, or you can say 10 raised to minus 8 centimeters. So as we know that as the size of atom increases, the bond length is also increases. So carbon Cl bond is around 1.76 Armstrong unit, while CBr bond is 1.94 Armstrong unit. Ci, that is carbon iodide bond, is 2.14 Armstrong unit. As is the distance in between two nuclei, so the size of atom is also matters. As the size of atom increases, bond length is also increases. Friends, the bond length decreases from carbon-carbon single bond to carbon-carbon triple bond due to increase in S character in different state of hybridization of the carbon. So in carbon-carbon single bond, that is sp3 hybridization, while carbon-carbon triple bond, that is sp hybridization. So the percentage of S character, S is the orbital. So what is the percentage of S orbital? So as the S orbital percentage is increases, the bond length is decreases. As the percentage of S character increases, the bonding electrons in the orbital are more near to the nucleus because S orbital has a spherical shape. So the distance between electrons and nucleus is less. So and this causes the decrease in bond length. So for example, suppose this is sp3 hybridization, carbon-carbon single bond. This is carbon-carbon double bond, sp2 hybridization, carbon-carbon triple bond, sp hybridization. So the percentage of S, so total 4 orbitals are there, sp3 orbital. So 1 out of 4, 1 is S orbital. So S percentage is 25. In this case 3 orbital, 1 is S, so 33.33. So 2 orbitals are there, so 1 is S, so 50%. So as the percentage of S character increases, bond length decreases. So carbon-carbon single bond it's around 1.54 Armstrong unit, while carbon-carbon double bond is 1.34 Armstrong unit, while carbon-carbon triple bond is 1.20 Armstrong unit. So in this way, S character increases, the bonding electrons in an orbital are more near to the nucleus. That's why the bond length is goes on decreasing. Now we'll see the bond angle. So if some atom is there, there are two bonds are there. So the angle between these two consecutive bonds, that is called as bond angle. So this is the definition. The angle between two adjacent bond on an atom, it's called as bond angle. Friends, for example, the methane molecule carbon is sp3 hybridized orbital. So you know the geometry, that is tetrahedral geometry. So angle between any two hydrogen, carbon, hydrogen. So these are the adjacent bond on this carbon atom. So the angle between two adjacent bond, that is 109.5. So the bond angle is called as 109.5. So angle between any two hydrogen is 109.5 because these are lying on the corners of regular tetrahedron. That's why this is called as tetrahedral geometry. The bond angle is 109.5. So if you consider another sp3 hybridized carbon, but one of the hydrogen is replaced by any other atom like chlorine, then bond angle is not same. Then depending upon some factors, the bond angle will get changed. In this case, hydrogen carbon chlorine bond will be decreased to 108, while in this case, similarly, any hydrogen carbon hydrogen bond will be 110 degrees. So it depends upon the which atom is attached to that sp3 hybridized carbon. Depending upon that one also, the bond angle will get changed, but not that much similar. It's closer to the 109.5. Friends, the bond angle is also depends upon the hybridization. As in last videos we saw, sp3 hybridized carbon, the bond angle is 109.5 degrees. If sp2 hybridized carbon, then 120 angle is there. If sp hybridization, then 180 angle is there. These angles also varies in presence of various atoms or lone pairs. For example, ammonia. So in ammonia, this nitrogen is sp3 hybridized. So bond angle should be 109.5. But in this case, bond angle is 107.5. So decrease in bond angle. So because this is the lone pair. So lone pair and these are the bonding pairs. So nitrogen, hydrogen sigma bond contains sigma electrons. So this sigma electrons called as bonding electron pair. So lone pair and bonding electron pair, that repulsion is very high as compared to the bond pair. So because of this repulsion in between lone pair and bond pair, this repulsion increases. So this hydrogen comes closer and bond angle will get decreased 109 to 107.5 degrees. So the reason is lone pair repulsion is higher than lone pair than bond pair. So this repulsion lone pair and bond pair repulsion is higher than the bond pair and bond pair. That's why bond angle decreased to 107.5. Similar case in water also. Here is two lone pairs are there on the oxygen. So this oxygen lone pair repulsion will be higher. So bond angle will be here angle will be increased from 109.5 to somewhat higher. So what will happen? This lone pair bond pair repulsion is also higher. So that makes these two hydrogens very close to each other. These two hydrogens very close to each other, bond angle is decreased to 104.5. So this is according to the VESPR theory, valence bond electron pair share theory. So bond angle will get decreased. So this is important thing. Lone pair repulsion is more than lone pair, more than bond pair repulsion. That changes the bond angle from the regular 109.5 to 107.5 in case of ammonia, while 104.5 in case of water molecule. As we know that if carbon is sp2 hybridized, bond angle is 120, geometry is planar, and if sp hybridized carbon is there, suppose this is acetylene molecule, linear geometry, bond angle will be 180 degrees. Now we'll see the bond energy. Friends, the bond energy is the strength of bond. So how strong is the bond? So how to determine the strength of bond? Just break it and forms it radical forms. So whatever the energy required to break that sigma bond or that particular bond and forms the constituent radicals, that energy required, that is called as bond energy. So for example, this is AB molecule. A is any atom, B is any atom bonded with this sigma bond. If you are going to supply some energy, and then this sigma bond will get break and will form these radicals. So whatever the energy required to break this sigma bond and forms a radical, that energy is called as bond energy or bond dissociation energy. So the energy necessary to break a bond into its constituent radical is called as bond energy. Friends, these definitions are very important for the examination also. So just remember this line and remember this concept. So the energy necessary to break a bond into its constituent radical is called as bond energy. Friends, the bond dissociation energy depends upon the nature of bond. So how the strong bond is there? Suppose double bond is stronger than sigma bond, then energy required higher. So hybridization, sp3 hybridized bond are less strong than sp2 hybridized than sp hybridization, because multiplicity of the bond increases, strength of the bond is also increases. Then environment of the A, B into the molecule. So whatever the environment of those atoms bonded, so depends upon that one. So bond dissociation energy is called as bond energy, obviously. So bond energy depends upon the nature of bond, hybridization, multiplicity of bond and environment of the atoms into the molecules. For example, hydrogen H2 molecules. So the bond energy is around 104 kilocalorie per mole. So atom changes, bond is sigma, but atom change, then energy required is different, that is 38 kilocalorie per mole. This is also for chlorine, the energy is, bond energy is 58 kilocalorie per mole. So that depends upon the which atoms are bonded, what is the hybridization, what is the multiplicity of the bond, depending upon the bond energies varies. In case of polyatomic molecules like methane, ethane, propane, butane, in case of polyatomic molecules, bond energy is an average bond dissociation energy because it contains multiple sigma bonds. In case of H2, F2 or Cl2, there is only one single bond or sigma bond. But in case of polyatomic molecules, there are so many bonds are there. So the average bond dissociation energy is called as bond energy. For example, methane molecule. So in methane molecule there are 4 sigma bonds. So 4 sigma bonds are not equivalent. One is CH3H, second one is CH2H, one is CHH, CH. So these bonds are different. So their energy is also different. If we want to break CH3H bond, then into its constituent radicals, the bond energy is 104 kilocalorie per mole. Suppose this whatever the CH3 is formed, again CH3, one of the H has to break, that single bond has to break into its constituent radical CH2 and H, bond energy 106 kilocalorie per mole. Similarly, next breaking of the sigma bond, that is 106 kilocalorie per mole, and last sigma bond energy required is 81 kilocalorie per mole. For so that the total methane molecule and break down into one carbon radical and 4 hydrogen radical, the total energy required is around 397 kilocalorie per mole. So addition of this all energies is equal to 397 kilocalorie per mole. So this is for 4 single bonds. So there are 4 bonds. So divided by 4, so you will get the average bond energy. So 397 divided by 4, that is 99.24 kilocalorie per mole. This average energy is called as bond energy. So for the polyatomic molecules, bond energy is the average bond dissociation energy. So average bond dissociation energy is the bond of the bonds present into the molecule is called as bond energy. The energy change associated with the chemical change is called as heat of reaction and denoted by the delta H and expressed in terms of kilocalorie per mole. So bond energy unit is kilocalorie per mole. That bond energy is called as heat of reaction because whatever the heat gained or released by breaking of that bonds, that is called as heat of reaction. So in case of diatomic molecules, bond energy and bond dissociation energy are the identical because there is only one bond is there. But in case of polyatomic molecules, the average bond dissociation energy is called as bond energy. So bond energy depends upon the hybridization. This is sp3 hybridization, sp2 hybridization, sp hybridization. So multiplicity of the bond is also increases, length of the bond is also decreases. So depending upon that one, if bond length is higher, bond energy is very small. If bond length goes on decreasing, bond energy goes on increasing. because shorter is the bond, stronger is the bond. So carbon-carbon triple bond is a shorter bond, so strength of the bond will be higher. So it required higher energy to break that triple bond. So 200 kilocalorie per mole energy is required. So bond energy increases when the bond length decreases, and multiple bonds are stronger than single bonds. So multiple bonds are shorter than the single bonds. That's why multiple bonds are stronger than the single bond. Thank you friends. Thank you for the watching.